Today, I will be teaching you amillennialism. Many have not understood amillennialism because it has not been given unto them to bring the truth forward. Today, there will be a lot of controversy between amillennialism and post or premillennialism. But I will bring an interpretation of a literal approach according to my way of precept upon precept and line upon line. So we will begin our study today. According to my amillennialistic belief, I will be explaining the contents in Revelation by applying my figurative interpretation. Revelations 12 and Revelations 20 will be both used for applying these approaches and many other verses in and out of the Bible. Revelations 12:1 states that there once appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Well, the word wonder in the concordance means a supernatural experience. A supernatural experience, such a wonder as this, appeared in the heavens. Therefore, this woman is not a literal woman as concerning giving birth to the Son of God, Jesus Christ, but this woman is more of a spiritual, figurative approach concerning the supernatural experience or wonder that occurred in the heavens of a woman clothed with the sun, the moon, and the stars under her feet. Therefore, the literal approach would actually apply to the fact that there is a sun, moon, and stars in our sky, and that this mother has and is clothed with the sun. Therefore, she most likely figuratively represents the womb of the universe itself, orbit itself, the universe. She is the woman that is clothed with all these things. Figuratively, this is the expression that is revealed. In Hebrews 9 verse 14, it states of eternal spirit that Christ has entered. Christ has entered an eternal spirit. Therefore, this woman can also represent figuratively the eternal spirit, the universal proof of God's conscience of the circumcised nature. This woman also figuratively represents where the angel of the Lord reigns. The angel of the Lord, who is the Spirit of Christ, the image of the invisible God, or the firstborn of every creature, as stated in Colossians 1:15. The image of the invisible God. For an invisible God to produce anything out of its invisibility was that firstborn creature. That firstborn creature was the Spirit of Christ, the angel of the Lord, who also appeared in the bush at Moses and said to him, I am. Jesus in the flesh said before Abraham was, I am. Therefore, making himself the angel of the Lord who appeared in the bush, by representing the same name. Therefore, the Word was made flesh. Jesus spoke and said before Abraham was, I am. In the Spirit, he was that angel of the Lord that appeared in the bush at the time of Moses. Therefore, being the angel of the Lord, which represents the major role player in our history, according to the Old Testament. Therefore, the angel of the Lord also represents that firstborn creature made from the invisible God, who is the image of the invisible God, which is the Spirit of Christ. And if the Spirit of Christ was and is up there before the world was, therefore he needed a place to exist, a place to reign, a place to live, being that he was king over all the angels. From him there were numerous amount of angels, as well as Lucifer. Lucifer also reigned in heaven at once. And 1/3 of the angels fell, and yet 2/3 of the angels existed. And the angel of the Lord, or the captain of the host in heaven, reigned up there with the Spirit of Christ, who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creatures. Therefore this wonder in heaven that appeared of a woman is that great mother of heaven, which is that woman in heaven, that woman which is clothed with the sun, the moon, and the stars. Literally, it is our universe. Figuratively, it is the eternal spirit, where the angel of the Lord reigns. See the two differences. There are two differences. Two from one figurative approach, and secondly a literal approach of a universal heavens that the human eye can see, and an eternal spirit where only the angel of the Lord can live in the womb. For the God is an invisible God, amen, that cannot be seen. In Isaiah 50 verse 1, it states that God had divorced our mother and has sold us to his creditors. Because of our iniquities we sold ourselves, and for our transgressions he divorced our mother. Therefore, understanding the difference between the invisible world, which is uncircumcised, and that visible world, which is now circumcised, there are once again two, mother and father. Father being uncircumcised in the invisible world, mother being circumcised in the visible world, where the angel of the Lord can now rest and reign. It is evidence that he has sold us to his creditors, for we are subjects, subjected unto vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who has subjected the same creature in hope. For we know that the law is spiritual, but we are carnal, sold under sin. Therefore we have been sold to his creditors, and them creditors also have the reason why the law was cursed, and why we have been redeemed by our God through his mercy and salvation from the curse of the law, so that we have been redeemed. And though we have been sold to his creditors, we too suffer in this wretchedness. In Psalms 51 verses 5 and 3 says, "For we are all shapen in iniquity, and in sin did our mother conceive us. For we acknowledge our transgression, and our sin is ever before us." Romans 5 verse 12, "Wherefore as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned." So how can anyone ever be brought forth through the eternal spirit and not commit sin from the womb, if we all have followed Adam and Eve's sins? This is a natural transgression due to the fact that we have been subjected creatures into a world of vanity and hope. Though we have been redeemed from the curse of the law, it states clearly that by one man sin had entered into the world, and so sin had revived and used the commandments to slay us, and therefore the things that we wish that we can do, we find ourselves not doing, for there is a presence of evil before us. But we worship the law of God toward the inward man, of that which is in the soul and which is in the heart, in which our free will, according to who we are. For in him was life, and that life was the light of men. Therefore that light is only produced by his judgment, and his creation has created us unto good works, being his workmanship unto Christ, foreordained unto good works. Therefore we have a hope in us, though we are subjected creatures, sold as carnals. But that is not the point. The point is that by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, so death had passed upon all. Not that all that are subjected creatures, or let's per se man, have fallen angels invested into their soul, for the fallen angels are an accounted number, for there are more of us than there are of they. 2/3 verse 1/3. But yes, if you do not clear the spiritual mind and separate yourself from the wickedness involved, then you too may also be part of the demonic force of the fallen angels. Impatience in your soul for not following the course of his nature and his belief system. Therefore, this is why it is such a great wonder in heaven. For you must understand first the literal and spiritual approach of who you are in predestination. And then you too can understand the power of God that is invested within us. In John 4 verse 24 it states that God is a spirit. In John 1:18 it says that no man has seen God at any time. God is infinite time before all things. Ecclesiastic 3 verse 11 it states, so that no man can ever see, so that no man can ever find out the works that God maketh from the beginning to the end. The woman is also a figurative representation of a church, the bride of the Father. According to this passage, it reflects an ancient star god mythology which some belief systems have procured. The story of a mother goddess pregnant with a child, and in pursuit of her was a horrible monster who her child had defeated in the very end. Our Mother Earth is apparently clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet. In other words, the sun and the moon shelter us in our sky, giving us light,